Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do.
Just what to do, just what to do.
If what you're feeling is really true.
Is really true, is it really true?
Just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show on Hamilton Radio. Guys, everyone and anyone who knows me knows I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smartass than a dumbass, guys, because almost 32 years ago, I was a dumbass. But through the grace of God, 32 years later, I can honestly say now, I'm a smartass. And yes, the word ass is in the Bible at least 40 times, and it means donkey, and that's what I was. Guys, I'm saying all that to say this. I want everyone out there to know we've all had the toughest few years of our lives all over the world, and I don't want anyone to feel like they're alone and they don't have anyone they need to talk to. So I am always here. I'm a recovery coach. I'm a nutritional health coach. My services to you are free. If you think my book can help someone that you care about, because I sure do, you can go to Barnes & Noble. It's on BAM. It's on Amazon. It's everywhere. You can go right to Simon & Schuster's bookstore, Archway Publishing. And if someone truly cannot afford my book, please reach out to me about that as well. Guys, go to the Geri Petito Show YouTube channel and subscribe. I've got some really great things coming on. And, of course, my website, www.geripetito.com. All my pages are there. So, you know, guys, I bring it, right? I always bring it. But, honey, I'm bringing it, okay? I am bringing it here. I have an incredible guest. Maryann Maisano, say hello to everybody.
Well, hey, how are you? And hey, Geri, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. So, you know, let's give a shout out before I forget to John Terlizzi, who introduced us, right? John's the man.
Through the magic of the internet.
Okay? Love you, John, and thank you for this.
Thanks, John.
So, Mare, you crack me up, okay? First of all, I'm Italian. You're Italian. I mean, come on. We know a guy. We know lots of guys. All right.
We do, yeah.
First time I talked to you, though, I was cracking up because of just the silly things you say, your innuendos and all that. But what's really cool about you is the Italian chicks thing you're doing and everything that's going on. So do me a favor. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself. Take the mic, girl.
Okay, thanks. Well, let's see. Yes, I am the creator, producer, and headliner of the Italian Chicks comedy and variety show. And that show was endorsed by Danny Aiello up until his passing 2 years ago. He was a great friend and a mentor of mine. As a matter of fact, he wound up recording one of my songs called City of Light, and it was nominated for a Grammy. So it was kind of wonderful. And Danny was very integral in helping me even from a mentoring perspective, you know? So I have many facets to who I am because I never considered myself a comic, which is why sometimes when I'm in a room with real, quote, comics, I feel like I don't fit in because I'm not walking around with a notebook going like, all right, this is my bit. I got to remember that. I got to do that. I don't, because you know what? Everything that I talk about is everything that's happened to me. And my comedy comes from, I could be on the phone with you and tell you a story that happened during the day, and you could just say to me, Mayor, that's hysterical, write it down. And I go, really? And I write it down. That's how it works. I don't test material. I just do it. Some people think it's crazy, but I kind of like walking without a net and being shot out of a cannon. And I've always, and the women that are in my show, they're quite amazing and they're very talented. And I always say to them, listen, before a show, if you're not nervous, you have a big problem.
Hold that thought. I never interrupt. I have to. Certain things. Elvis Presley was nervous. Every single show, he paced back and forth before and come on, the king. Continue, girl.
Amen. All right. Yep. So every time before a show, I say to them, if you're not humble, when you walk out there, the audience is going to know that you're arrogant. okay? And you always have to walk out like you have something to prove. And I do every show, I'm doing that. I'm backstage, I'm pacing. They call my name out, I go out. And once my feet hit the ground, I'm fine, okay, on the stage. But it's that whole headset of like, you want to make people happy. You want to give them the best of what you think you can do. And that's what I'm all about. What's interesting is that, so I consider myself more of a storyteller. I started out as a singer in a rock and roll band playing guitar. And so really my first passion is music and singing, which I was able to combine in the Italian Chicks comedy, hence variety show, okay? That's where the music comes in. So from there, I've also done, right now I'm getting into, I'm loving what's going on. I recorded my one-woman play. It was filmed live in front of a small audience during the pandemic. Everybody was masked up, as you know, and I rented out a Jersey City soundstage, okay. And it was beautiful. The set, it looks like people go to me, wow, the set almost looks fake, because the background, it's a living room. We put together a living room set, but the background are all these windows of New York City. So you see the whole skyline, which is spectacular. Yes. So my play was something I was writing on for years. It was based on the story of my life, being the youngest of four, growing up, and my mom and dad were from Italy, and in a very strict Italian Roman Catholic family, right? And it was kind of interesting because my father, I loved him to death. He was never horrible to my mom, was never a drinker or anything like that. When he came here from Italy, he wound up opening up the first taxi cab company in Fort Lee, New Jersey. So my father, he had the way with the ladies. That was his thing. That was his addiction. And, back in the day, my parents were much older and they're deceased. Back in the day, women just didn't leave. It didn't work that way. You stayed, yes. So it deals with, all the antics that went on with the cab company, my brother and sisters, and all the nonsense, and the, CB radios and taxi cabs in the yard. And then it also deals with how infidelity skewed my perception of love as an adult. So it's really, it's a dramedy. It will make you laugh. It will make you cry. And it takes you on this really unique, visceral journey. So if anybody's interested in that, the best I could say is go to the ItalianChicks.com, and you'll see a tab that says Addict the Play. You click right there, and it'll tell you how you could watch it on demand on Vimeo. And pretty soon it's going to be available on Roku.
So I have a question. Where in Italy was your dad from?
Reggio Calabria, Bagnata, and my mother was from Naples.
My dad was from Naples. Avellino?
Yes.
That was where your mom was from?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, beautiful. All right. I just love talking about Italy a little bit.
Oh, right. It's beautiful. And it was so funny because I was the youngest of four. And I mean, my next sister, because I had two sisters and an older brother who's deceased. My next sister, she was like 9 years older than me. Oh. So there was a huge generation between me and everybody else, And when my dad did what I think every other Italian immigrant did. When he came here, every year he would send for somebody in his family to come and live with us. They'd move in the basement.
That's right.
Right? My mother would cook for them. My father would find them a job. A year later, they'd move out, and another crew would move in. It was like living in a goddamn documentary.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. And it was great because you know what? We would sit there, and Sunday dinners were spectacular.
Yes.
And I say this in my comedy show when I do, because I happen to do a traditional song, Italian song, Al di là, in the show. And I set up the song by talking about Sunday dinner and how important that was to us generationally, because I really believe it made us who and what we are today. Because that Sunday dinner was not just, your immediate family. It was all the cousins and the aunts and the uncles. everybody came over, and this was going on since the morning. The smells and then the music was so eclectic, from Caruso to Jimmy Rosselli to all kinds of music, and Italian folk singers, Carlo Butti. And I remembered, like, all my uncles and aunts, they'd sit in the living room. And back in the day, there was no Discovery Channel, right? I mean, so we would sit there like this, glued, because they would be telling stories about the old country. And we were just like, wow, that's where we came from? Because it was like spectacular to see, like, the Statue of David and the Trevi Fountain and all these beautiful things that are part of who and what we are.
So, wait, I have a question for you. Real quick. Where in New York did you grow up?
I didn't grow up in New York. I was born and raised in Fort Lee, New Jersey.
Oh, okay. So this all went on in New Jersey.
Yeah, Fort Lee.
Okay, so that's beautiful. Okay, continue.
And being the youngest of four, and I was the one home, and while everybody else was married, when my grandmother would come once a year, and she'd spend like 3 months. Okay. And she would come, and that's how I learned how to talk Italian, because she would sit with me. And she would sit, and she'd hold up a glass of water, and she'd go, Maryann, bicchiere acqua. And I'd go, glass of water, Norma, right? And she'd be like, brava. So it was just so amazing, because I think out of everybody in my family, sibling-wise, I was the only one that was really fascinated with my culture. Beautiful. And so, as I said, I started in... I won a guitar down the shore when I was 12 years old. And I was singing since I was 5, because every Sunday my mother, when she made the coffee and dessert, she would say, go inside and sing for everybody. And I'd get up on a chair and do that. And then when I was 12 years old, my brother took me down the shore, or up the shore, wherever you prefer. And we went to Seaside, and I was 12. It was for my birthday. And we went to one of those, the game of chance, the Wheel of Fortune with all the numbers. And I put a quarter on number 30. We spun the wheel, and I won. And the guy said, you could have anything on the stand. And I saw this electric guitar. I didn't know how to play it. And I go, I want the guitar. My brother goes, don't get the guitar. You don't know how to play that. Get the freaking TV. And I'm like, no, I want the guitar. And the next day, I went to the local music store, and I bought all these books. And I went home, and every day when I got home from school, I went straight to my room, and I played my guitar. All day, every day, until the first song I ever learned was House of the Rising Sun.
Okay, question. I got to. I feel like you're telling, not my story with the guitar, because I am not a music person, but I feel like you're just telling my story growing up. So did your parents, like, push you to play the guitar with the music?
No.
Okay.
No, my dad, it was so funny, because my father was very traditional, and my father would always see me with my guitar, and he'd go, Maryann, what do you do with that crazy guitar, you stupid hippie bass?
Oh my God, I love this.
And my mother, she would just say, oh, babe, like I played House of the Rising Sun a million times, and every day she'd walk in and go, oh, babe, that was beautiful, Mommy loved it. So she was extremely supportive, and my dad, and I think it was because my mom and I always got in the car, because her girlfriends would call him and say, your husband's taxi is parked down the end of the road, Mary.
Oh, man.
And so, my dad and I had this little thing,
Gotcha.
So what happened was, I'll never forget, I was about 18 years old, and he was getting a little tired of seeing his baby girl get in a van with all these long-haired guys, and going on the road. So one day he said to me, Maryann, why don't you get a real job under the benefits? And I was like, oh, yeah, because I really thought he meant like I couldn't do anything.
Okay. I
just felt, diminished. So it was a challenge to me. And I was like, oh, yeah, you don't think I could do anything? And I walked into a local bank, and I got a job as a teller. Now, think about it, Jerry. When we were growing up and you go into the local bank, they were like museums, right? They were marble. You'd walk in, you could hear your feet walking.
That's right.
Right? And the manager was on a raised platform sitting there like, the King Henry. And everybody in town worked there. So they gave me a job as a teller. And I became successful by accident. And within 2 years, I started moving up, and through mergers and acquisitions. And I became vice president of sales.
For real?
For real.
What did Dad say?
Well, Dad, unbeknownst to me, because he never was expressive with me from a warmth place. But when he passed, I was going through his stuff, and there was a folder, because when he came here, he ran a business. My mother ran the business for him, did the books and all that. But he didn't read or write English, and he taught himself. It was all phonetic. So when you looked at his paperwork, you had to go like, all right, let's sound it out like a flashcard. Okay?
Exactly. Oh my gosh, go ahead.
Right? And I'd see Maryann, and I went and I opened it up, and there were all these clippings of me opening up banks and pictures that he had laminated. So it was interesting. And
but wait, it wasn't interesting. It was beautiful.
It was.
It was absolutely beautiful. I'm not going to tell the story on air, but when we get off, I have a story about my dad for you.
Okay.
That was absolutely beautiful. And what that meant was how proud he was of you. And I know you know that.
I do.
Okay.
Now I do, yeah. And I've reconciled with all that, which when you see the play, you'll understand how I reconciled. And, this is why I'm saying, so let me not get off track. When I was in the bank, and of course, back in the day when you were a musician, I had a mattress on the floor, and my end tables were speakers. They were amplifiers, So there, you worked for cash. You had no money. Now all of a sudden, I'm making a lot of cash. You know what I'm saying? And I ran a tri-state bank: New York, New Jersey, and Florida. So it was like craziness, and I had all this. I was in the chips. Okay, so I remember giving a motivational seminar to the sales team, because it was all about me with behavior modification and trying to get them to go from an order taker to a sales mode, which was very difficult. And I would always start out my seminars by saying, okay, by a show of hands, how many of you people in here knew you wanted to be a banker when you were 5 years old? And nobody would raise their hand. And I would go, of course not. You wanted to be a ballerina or a cop or a fireman. Come on. Listen, people, I'm telling you, the banking world has changed. You got to get with the program, or you better find your passion. When I was 5 years old, I knew I wanted to be a performer. And that was the day I heard myself say it out loud. And I realized, because when you're in those hefty kind of jobs and you're in a high-end corporate position, you don't have a life. And you're working 14, 15-hour days. I had no creativity left. I hadn't written a song in 10 years.
Oh, okay.
So the next day, I walked right into the chairman and CEO's office, who personally hired me, and I resigned my 6-figure job. And I said, you know what? I am going to go back, and I'm going to kickstart everything I want to do. So I created a 3-phase business plan for myself instead of for the bank. And the first priority is to do a CD of music, which I did. And that's how Danny Aiello heard that song. Then my sister actually met him at a wedding and gave him the CD and said, could you listen to my sister's music? The second phase was to create an all-female Italian show that would support the cultures and traditions of the Italian people. But you don't have to be Italian. You just have to have a crazy family, and you'll still be able to relate. Okay? And then the third phase was to write my one-woman show, Agita. So little by little, I was working on everything, and then the Italian Chicks kicked off. And then I've been writing my play. I premiered it in the Producers Club in New York City in 2017.
Okay.
And I only premiered it there because I videotaped it, because I wanted to take it home and do rewrites, because that's what you do. You put a play out and then you rewrite it. That's how you hone it better.
Oh, okay.
And then during the pandemic, I was never more creative in my entire life. I wrote more music. I barely left the house, honestly. But we're Italian. We're used to being in lockdown. You know what I'm saying?
You got it, girl.
Yeah. So I rewrote all my rewrites, and then that's when we did this during the pandemic. And I found a wonderful guy, Bobby Lucera, who has Strong Island Entertainment, and we put a deal together. And he has a whole camera crew and a whole company, and we went in and recorded it live with a 3-camera shoot. So I'm very grateful that everything that I wanted to make happen happened. And, people say, for me, it's not about being famous. For me, it's about making an impact on people. Yeah. And so I don't live the fact that I'm doing what I love makes me successful.
Yes.
And I run into some people and they're all in this, this Instagram head and, sadly today it's really sad because all these people are on Instagram here and there, and when their numbers blow up, if they are TikTok and they got 1 million views, but guess what? You go hire that person, they're not going to bring 1 million people into a place. You don't know where these people are. You don't know who they are. So people are now being respected and hired based on their numbers of followers, which does not mean they're talented.
No.
Doesn't mean they're talented at all.
I want to touch base on that real quick with you. All right, I'm 61. You don't have to talk about your age. I'm 61. And the thing about what we grew up with, okay, and I was thinking about this recently, actually. What the heck would these people today do, these younger people, without social media? How did Elvis get so famous? How did we know about everybody that was famous? How did we know about people who passed away? How did we know? We knew everything. Nothing slipped by us, right? Today,
right.
I don't know how anyone would know anything without social media. It's craziness.
It is, but it's bad because I feel bad for these kids today because unless they're getting the numbers on Instagram or TikTok or
Exactly.
whatever, they could be supremely talented.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean ugats.
And the other ones that don't get the numbers are getting depressed. I mean, that's not life. That's not reality.
Right. And that's the only thing that bothers me because
Yes, me
there
too.
are so many talented people out there. And even friends that I have. I mean, a friend of mine, Patty Russo, she was with Meatloaf. She was the second female singer with him for years. And, the most amazing voice.
Okay.
Played in London and in the West End, all over the place. And what happened? Nothing. She's still doing the same thing.
Crazy, right?
So it's crazy. It's crazy. But you know what? Like I said to you, if I'm still doing what I love to do, and that to me makes me successful and blessed. That's how I feel.
I am so happy to hear everything you've said, especially with family, because I can resonate with it. I mean, it's just craziness, but all right, we're going to have you do some stuff, okay? You can do your songs, whatever, but I want to just say that I'm hoping to meet you, lady, all right? You're doing a show.
Yeah.
Jean DiNapoli sent me the flyer, okay? Presents with Danny Aiello, the Italian Chicks, on May 13th, 2023, on a Saturday in the Bronx, right?
Right, the Bronx Performing Arts Center.
Yes, I am doing everything in my power to get there, lady, to meet you.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
And you'll talk about everything that you're going to be doing and everything, but I wanted to just share that. Shout out to Jean. Thank you for sending that to me. So
Thank you.
give us something, baby.
Okay, let's see. You know what I will do? All right. This is something, it's very silly. It's a parody. These are one of the, and you have to understand when I have the girls with me, it's totally different because they come out in big boas and they are like my, remember Bette Midler had the harlots?
Of course.
Well, I got the Butana Lordas.
I love it.
Okay. That's how it works. Okay. So I always start this song out by saying, this song is going to answer the age-old battle between Italian Americans, which I hate. It's so ridiculous. Is it gravy or sauce?
Wait, I swear to you, I didn't know you were going to do this, right? And I was going to yell out, is it gravy or sauce, just to be funny? Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
That's great. Okay.
Okay.
Now you got to remember, I don't have them with me, but in the chorus, I'm going to try to do both the chorus and the verse at the same time. So you'll get what's going to happen. So it kind of starts out like this. Yeah. So I tell the audience, pay attention to the lyrics and you'll have the answer, all right? The night we met, I was feeling really shung-eyed. And after just 2 drinks, I said, wait a minute. I said, sorry, who's that tonight? And then you said you banged me. Oh, you even met my family. And then at Sunday dinner, you had a better. So won't you please eat my mother's gravy? It's making her crazy. Eat my mother's sauce. Whoa, 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 whoa. So it goes on like that.
So wait a minute. So, all right. So let's talk about the gravy. Come on. Is
Yeah.
it sauce or gravy?
Me, it was gravy. It was always
Me too.
gravy. for
It's
me.
always gravy. Not just you, not just me. It's gravy, people. Okay, I just had to
Well,
say
like,
that.
but you know what? Once you put meat in it,
Right.
it's gravy
It's
because
gravy.
it gets darker. Unless you want to make marinade, that's a whole different thing.
Yes, and it's called marinade, so you're right.
Exactly. So what are we arguing about,
I
right?
love it.
Craziness. So now, what I did this morning, believe it or not, I just shot a music video this morning.
Okay.
So I'm working on my second film. It's called The Key,
Okay.
and it's a short, and it's a LGBTQ film, lesbian based. And we filmed it in a beautiful spot in New Jersey, this gorgeous park overlooking the Palisades and the Hudson River. And so I got these amazing two young actors. They were just wonderful. We shot those scenes ahead of time, and we went in today to shoot the end of the film with just me. And then what happened was, this film, I can't even, the only thing I'm going to tell you is that if you see this film, it's going to be something different from anything else you've ever seen before. Because it was based on a monologue.
Okay.
And the actors they have no dialogue.
Okay.
So they are reacting to the narrative that I'm telling.
Okay.
And there's beautiful meditative music behind it. So it's interesting because you get to see their improvisational skills on how they touch each other, or hold each other, or smile, or it was just stunning watching the whole thing.
That's so cool.
And then prior to shoot, like when we were getting ready to shoot this, I started writing the song, and I kept saying, Mayor, finish this later. I had to concentrate on my own lines because I'm the only person that comes in at the end, and it says 20 years later. And I had these lines that come out, right? So I said, wait until after this is done and then finish the song. And I did. And then I was playing it one day and I said, oh my God, now I know why I wrote this song. Because I guess I was enveloped so much in doing this film that everything about the film came out in the song. So when I called my camera producer and we were talking about everything, I said, Bobby, we got to do a music video. And what we'll do is after the credits, that'll come right up and it'll tie everything together because it's all about what happens.
Right.
So that's what we did this morning from 11 until 2:30.
That's pretty cool. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be absolutely beautiful to watch
man,
it,
yeah.
right? I mean, I'm picturing it right now. I'm picturing maybe trees and the water behind them.
Right.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
It was so amazing. And it was funny because, I used years ago, I worked for this woman who was a great mentor of mine when I was in corporate. And she always said to me, Maryann, you always come up with an idea a second. She goes, that's a good thing. She goes, don't stop doing it, but they all can't be good.
Okay.
And she was right. And it was funny because when I first thought of this film, I went to a short festival with a friend of mine who was nominated. And we watched about 15 shorts, okay? And when we got in the car, I said to her, you know what? I have this monologue that I wrote, and I think I could turn that into a short. So what I did, just for reference for the actresses, I broke the monologue into scenes. So it would be easier for them to emote different feelings, okay? And then I put this whole thing together, and I was saying to myself, you know what? They're not going to have any dialogue. It's just going to be my narration of what's happening. And then I thought, wow, maybe this is too not good. Like when you think something's brilliant and then you're like, maybe this really isn't. And I wound up calling a dear friend of mine who, by the way, you should check out his show, even online, go look it up. It's called Blood Type Ragu. And Frank Ingraziata is one of the most brilliant actors and playwrights. And he plays 28 characters in this play. And he's an acting coach, teacher. And I called him up and I go, we always call each other bro and sis. I go, bro, listen, I got to run something by you because I don't know if this is really good or if it's not. So I tell him the concept, and he goes to me, "Oh my God, I think that's brilliant." And
Yes.
I go, "Brilliant? You think it's brilliant?" So now I was all excited. I was like, "Okay, I got something."
Yes.
So I ran with it.
I mean,
we hope-
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, we hope to have it out by December 1st.
Okay.
So, and that will also be on Roku on demand.
Okay.
So, so we're working right now to try to get into other different, we were going to do Amazon, but, they're so not user friendly to people. I mean, they rob you blind. And, it's not about the money per se, but, when you put all your hard effort and I've done all these films, not by crowdfunding. People have donated. And when they donate, if they donate $50 or more, they get their name in the credits.
Okay.
Under that, they get VIP seats at a premiere or a screening or something like that. But it's remarkable how these people have just, the same people that donated for Agita donated towards the key and then some.
Beautiful.
So I'm really, I feel very blessed and fortunate, that this happens all the time and people care about what I do.
It's beautiful. So
Yeah, right?
no, yes, absolutely incredible. Do you want to give us another little parody?
Actually, I'm going to give you something serious right now.
All right.
I'm going to give you, and I'm not going to do the whole thing because I don't want to give away the movie, but I'm going to give you the video we shot this morning. I'm going to give you the song. The part of the film, The Key.
Okay.
The name of this song is "You Left Me in Love," rather. Pardon me. Okay. I was just sitting here thinking of all the years that you had spent with me. I thought that you were the one I was waiting for, one who was sent just for me. But you had some other plans I didn't know about. You made me just fall in love with you. You told me you loved me. You had some issues, so we just took it slow. But then the truth came out, what it was all about. And you just ran away and left me alone. So that's part of how it goes.
That's beautiful. You have a beautiful voice.
Thank you, honey. Thank you.
Wow. Okay, so let me ask you a couple personal questions.
Sure.
Growing up, who influenced you? And yes, I'm going to use the word influence because we've all had people who influenced us, right? Who influenced you in the entertainment world?
Oh, I know the answer to that. It's so simple. I'll tell you one thing. Let me back up before I answer that.
Yeah.
When I was 16 years old, I went and registered and got, I got working papers, right, back in the day, right?
Yeah, I did too.
I went to the bank and I opened up a doing business as account, and I created a business called Musicgrams. And you would call me. I had ads in the newspaper. I was 16. And you would tell me about Geri, and it's her birthday or whatever, and little tidbits about you, and I would write a parody. And I would go to the restaurant where you were having your birthday, and I would walk in top hat and tails, and play the song, and then give you like a parchment paper of this song. Okay?
At 16. Wait, at 16.
Yeah, it was called Music Box Productions.
All right, continue.
So the reason why I say that is because now at 17, I had to go into the city. And that night I was so upset because one of my biggest idols, and the reason why I loved her, because when I was in the bands and you're playing a wedding and something like that, like you get a little bored after a while singing the same damn song, you know? I mean, how many times are you going to sing Evergreen? You know? So I would be like, oh, and I always would put banter in because, you know, that's who I am. I just talk, right? So I'd joke around. I'd say something about it. So I always like to do that. And the person who did that all the time was Bette Midler.
That's cool.
So I had tickets to go see her show at Radio City. And then my friends were there. I didn't have time to change. So I had to go there in top hat and tails.
I went to my senior prom in top hat and tails.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
There you go. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I would say she was my biggest influence in the fact that I love that she was able to be and I think she's a serious vocalist that doesn't get enough credit.
I agree.
But she's got a beautiful voice and she really puts emotion into her stuff. And I love that she was able to do that and then jump from that to do all these dirty song parodies, you know. My God, she did a million of them, you know, like, and she did those little jokes about Sophie Tucker, you know, like crazy. And break into all these silly characters, come out dressed as a mermaid and sing, in the South Sea island of Tuenga, I let myself go. All this, I mean, crazy, dirty stuff. I'm not going to go any further. But so she was my idol because she was able to do it all. And that's why when people say, what do you do? I say, well, I'm really an entertainer because I'm the person that when you put up the ad for, oh, we need an actor. Oh, we need a guitar player. Oh, we need a singer. Oh, well, I can show up for all of them. Okay.
Yes.
And that's what it was back in the day, right? When we watched TV, it was Carol Burnett.
Oh my gosh, I got to interview her. Got to meet her and interview her. Oh yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, so think of that. You know, she got out there, she sang. Now, she was not known for her singing, but she sang. Yeah. And then she did all these skits and, you know, parodies and stuff. So, I mean, to me, that was what a performer did. You just didn't do one thing.
So let me ask you a couple more silly questions that I love asking people in the entertainment field. Who have you met that you always wanted to meet, and who have you never gotten to meet that you wish you could have?
I wish I could have met, still maybe could, Meryl Streep.
Oh, okay. Beautiful.
Because I just think there's something magical about her.
Yep.
And I would just love to have a conversation with her about her process and all these crazy things you do when you try to get into that head, you know?
Okay.
Well, I'm very glad that I met Danny Aiello.
Oh, beautiful. Yes.
He was a guy that I wanted to meet. And as a matter of fact, as I said to you, my sister, who unfortunately is no longer with us, due to domestic violence, I have to add, because I'm a huge advocate of domestic violence.
Okay.
My sister went to a wedding and Danny was there and she walked over and gave him my CD. 3 months later, he calls me. And I have a bunch of friends in the business that are impersonators. And this one guy would call every once in a while and he would do De Niro, he would do Pesci.
I love it.
This. And I'm laying on the couch one night, I pick up the phone and Danny always had that sexy, distinct voice, you know, and I go, hello. And he goes, Maryann Maisano, this is Danny Aiello. And I'm like, oh, knock it off, John. What are you friggin' mind? So now he starts laughing and he goes, no, this is really Danny Aiello. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, like I did that kind of thing, you know? But Danny was great. And I'll tell you how generous Danny was. Danny would call me up and he'd say, kid, meet me in the city at Pearl Studios. I'm rehearsing. He was going to, unfortunately, he was going to be doing this play called Capone, the musical. Sounds kind of odd, but it was all about Capone after when he got syphilis in jail.
Okay.
It's going crazy.
Yep.
So he's in jail, and 1 minute he's hallucinating, and then the next minute he breaks into this song in Italian about his mother. It was kind of fascinating. So I would go to the studio hang out with his manager, Louis, and we'd sit there, and I would just be in awe watching this guy, you know, work. And we'd leave, and he'd go, come on, we're going to go out and get something to eat. We'd always go to this place that all the waiters sang. It was great. And it was right in the city. We're walking down the street, and all these people stop him and go, oh, Danny Aiello, can I have my autograph? And he would be so kind and give her. And then he says to this one guy, oh, wait a minute. I just gave you my autograph? He goes, but you got to get her autograph.
Oh.
You know what? This person is a big threat, and she does this, and I didn't know what to do. I was just like,
Your
and I
moment.
just-
That was your moment, man.
yeah.
Wow.
And I thought, what a guy. He was
Right.
just really a genuine, cool guy.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I've had similar stories. We'll go into them another time where people call me because they love messing with me. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Funny stuff. I love it. I love it because I have a lot of impressionists, also impersonators. So I love it.
See? Yeah.
I love it. That's my thing. I don't know how they do it.
I don't either.
So, do you want to sing another parody for us?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Uh,
We'll do one more, and then we'll let you take the mic and tell us everything else that you want us to know, what's happening, what's going on, anything and everything.
Okay. Okay, this is a song that I end the show with, the Italian Chick Show. And this is my closing number, so it's just me on stage. And then my host comes out and brings everybody out for separate bows, okay? So it's, so you've seen the movie Moonstruck, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So it's my favorite movie to watch, especially when it's raining outside on a Sunday, because I just want to get myself more depressed. You know what I'm saying? So this, I don't know if you know this, they're making a sequel to Moonstruck.
No,
and
I did not know that.
It's Moonstruck 2, The Revenge. And this is the new theme song.
Okay.
Schiavizzo Vatagyanula Gliela ghivada me Scomoda vesto ucciso E vous aveva che Becchena vastadella Femmina come te non stava monna o messi come me oh. When you feel a sharp pain in the back of your neck, it's a hitman. When you start up your car, it explodes on a dime, it's the mob. Can you tell by the song, I'm a girl who belongs in a caddy? Excuse me, I fungal, I just live by my rules, I'm a guinea. If you think you've got moves and that you'll steal my heart, you're a rat bastard. If you think all it takes is a glance and the romance, you're a fool. Can you tell by the song, I'm a girl who belongs in a caddy? Excuse me, I'm fungal, I just live by my rule, I'm a guinea. Okay, Jerry, this one's for you, ready? Antipost menzigosh, antipost menzigosh, one's a bad word. All right, which one's a bad word, Jerry? The antipost or the freaking menzigosh? Oh! Can you tell by this song, I'm a girl who belongs in a caddy? Excuse me, I fungal, I just live by my rules. Oh my God, I want to thank Geri Petito, John that brought us together, the Reuben sandwich on engineering. Thank you so much for having me today. It's been a pleasure. I don't want to stop. I want to keep going, but we got to do what we got to do, you know? I'm a guinea.
You are getting a standing ovation from Ruben in the back, okay? Yes, 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 and I'm a guinea, baby. I have to just that was amazing. You listen, I'm going to be interviewing you again on the JT and the Jersey Jewel show soon.
Right.
You have got to sing that song. We were just talking about all this craziness with, words we can use, words we can't, what's correct, what's not, and guinea's one of them. I'm a guinea.
Yeah.
Call me a guinea. I love it, okay?
Oh, I don't give a shit. Yeah,
That
who
was
cares?
great. That was absolutely great. So,
Thank you.
listen, I want you to take the mic. First of all, I want to thank you for honoring me and Hamilton Radio here with this incredible, fun interview. We needed it. Trust me, girl. You're amazing. I am doing everything in my power to be at that show in the Bronx. I love you. I can't thank you enough for this interview. But I want you to take the mic now and tell everyone what's up and coming, how they can reach out to you, any information you want to give.
Okay, first of all, I recommend you all go to www.theitalianchicks.com. You have to put chicks, the S, because if you don't, you're going to get porn. But either way, it's exposure. Do you know what I'm saying? So now when you go to theitalianchicks.com, you'll see all of our shows lined up. Right now, the next show we have is November 13th at the Roslyn Hotel at the Cellar. It's a Sunday afternoon dinner show with the Italian Chicks. $69, free glass of wine, and you get a whole 2-hour show, okay? It's great. I hope you guys can go right to the Italian Chicks website. You'll see the show. Click there. You can buy your tickets right there. And then I didn't book throughout there because now we're editing this film. So I'm juggling a lot right now. So I want to get the film edited. I want to get it done. I want to put it in festivals, all that other jazz. So the next show we have lined up is in Hamilton, I always say that wrong, New Jersey, at the Cathedral Event Center. And that's April 22nd. And some other things are coming in now. And then we have Gene's show on the night before Mother's Day in the Bronx at the Bronx Performing Arts Center. And then from there on the Italian Chicks website, just sign up for mailing lists, and then you can get into Addict, the play, see where you can watch that, and then you could click on The Key, and you could see what's happening with that, and you'll see some of the clips and the location shoots and all that jazz.
Well, I want to thank you, and I'm laughing inside because I guarantee you 100% of the people, I don't care who they are going to go to ItalianChick.com first. Then they're going to come back to see the Italian Chicks, okay?
I know, I should invest in that site. You know what I mean?
I have a feeling, listen, Ruben's probably already doing it because he's laughing back there, okay? He might already checked it out, okay?
Yeah, Ruben's on his phone like, holy God, okay.
Oh, my God. Now, that was priceless. Thank you, sweetheart. So,
thank you.
What a great show. I thank you. I thank you. Share this show, everybody. It's already out there. Geri Petito YouTube channel, the Geri Petito Show YouTube channel. Plus, it's already on Facebook. Go on Maryann's page. Share this show, okay? Mara, thank you, girl. I love you. I cannot wait to meet you, and I am doing everything in my power to be at the Bronx.
Thank you. I love you back. Say hi to Ruben. Give him a kiss for me. And thank you so much for this time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Mara.
Okay, ciao, ciao.
Take us out, Ruben.
Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do.
Just what to do, just what to do.
If what you're feeling is really true.
Is it really true? Is it really true?
Just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.